Have you ever looked at the world and thought, wow, we have more access to truth than ever yet somehow? We're dumber, angrier, and more addicted to pretending everything's fine. Bill Burr has, and he's not subtle about it. He doesn't write self-help books. He doesn't give TED Talks. He screams into a microphone about how stupid society has become, and somehow, he's the only one who sounds sane. Because Bill Burr isn't here to make you comfortable. He's here to slap you with truth so hard. It loops back around and sounds like comedy. And that's exactly what this video is about. We're breaking down 6 of Bill Burr's most savage, painfully accurate, and disturbingly hilarious quotes about modern society, fake people, and the glorious circus we call civilization. These aren't just jokes. They're warnings. They're philosophies. And sometimes they're the only honest thing you'll hear all week. Let's begin with this banger. Signature 1. You want real change. Stop liking fake apologies and start unfollowing fake people. That one should be carved into stone and thrown at the front door of every influencer house in LA. Because Burr isn't just calling out the celebs. He's calling you out. Yeah, you the one who liked the teary-eyed video where the millionaire YouTuber apologized for hurting the community, and then went back to making money the next day. We're not holding anyone accountable. We're refreshing the drama feed. Burr doesn't sugarcoat it. We're not victims of a broken system. We're co-signers on the contract. We watch people fake their way out of accountability. And we hit like because they cried at minute 3. And that fake redemption, we eat it up like it's emotional DoorDash. Oh, look, he's learning. No, he's rebranding. And you bought the package. The truth is, real change isn't glamorous. It's messy, boring, takes time. But on the internet, if it's not dramatic, emotional, and monetized, it doesn't count. So, when Burr drops that line, it's not comedy. It's a diagnosis. You're not tired of fake people. You're just mad when they're bad at performing realness. And you can't fix what you won't unfollow. Signature 2. We live in a world where people get more offended by jokes than actual injustice. Let that one marinate for a second. You could post a clip of someone making an off-color joke. Boom! Outrage! People write essays. They demand cancellation. They write, "This is unacceptable," from the comfort of their 5G-enabled phones made in sweatshops. Meanwhile, an actual human rights violation, meh, scroll, swipe, yawn. That's what pisses Burr off. Not just the hypocrisy, but the selective outrage. He's not saying jokes should be exempt from criticism. He's saying if your emotions only activate when someone says something offensive, but not when someone does something evil, then maybe your moral compass is hooked up to Wi-Fi. And let's be honest, we love being offended. It gives us purpose, makes us feel smart, makes us feel involved without doing anything. Burr's whole point is this: words aren't the problem. Our inability to process them is. People hear something uncomfortable and go straight to DEFCON 1. No pause, no nuance. Just, that's problematic then. Boom. They retreat into their bubble of algorithm-fed validation. But real injustice, police brutality, corruption, exploitation, that's messy, complicated, demands actual effort. You can't cancel that with a quote tweet. And Burr's been banging this drum for years before cancel culture even had a name. He says the things that make people squirm, not because he's mean, but because someone has to remind you that life doesn't come with a content warning. He's not defending cruelty. He's attacking our obsession with curating comfort over confronting reality. He once joked that comedians are getting judged harder than politicians. And you know what? He's right. We've built a world where optics matter more than ethics, where a bad tweet ruins a career, but drone strikes get forgotten by next week's dance trend. So, yeah. When Burr yells that quote, he's not being edgy for fun. He's calling bullshit on a society that weaponizes sensitivity while ignoring suffering. And the worst part, we clap louder when someone sounds right than when they do right. So the next time you get offended by a joke, ask yourself, am I actually upset, or do I just enjoy the moral high ground today? Signature 3. The truth doesn't care if your feelings get hurt. That's why it's called the truth. Boom. Drop mic. There it is. In an age where everything has to be safe, supportive, aligned with brand values, Bill Burr strolls in, bald, angry, and unfiltered, and tells you the one thing you need to hear. The truth is not your emotional support dog. And he's right. The truth doesn't care about tone. It doesn't care if you're ready to hear it. It doesn't wait for your therapist to say, now's a good time. It just exists. Cold, sharp, brutal, and in a world addicted to validation. That's terrifying. Because here's what we've done. We've replaced truth with comfort. We want messages tailored to our worldview. We want facts that come with affirmations. And when something doesn't fit our emotional palette, we don't challenge it. We mute it. We block, unfollow, call it toxic. But Burr, he'll tell you straight up. If your version of truth only includes what makes you feel good, then you're not after truth. You're after permission to stay comfortable. He once joked, you can't just bend reality to your feelings. That's how people end up eating glue and calling it a diet. And, yeah, it's funny, but it's also the state of things. We live in a timeline where calling out lies is more offensive than the lies themselves, where hurting someone's feelings is a bigger sin than manipulating millions, where people demand safe spaces from ideas but expose themselves to toxic attention every day for clout. Bill Burr isn't trying to hurt people. He's trying to wake people. And sometimes, waking up means getting slapped. Not because the slapper's cruel, but because you've been sleeping through a fire alarm. So when Burr says that line, he's not being cold, he's being real. And if the truth hurts, maybe it's not because it's harsh. Maybe it's because you've been protected by lies for too long. Signature 4. We confuse anger with honesty, and comfort with truth. Isn't that just the whole world? In one sentence, Bill Burr doesn't talk like a life coach. He doesn't sound soft. He sounds pissed, which is why people often mistake what he's saying as anger when in reality, it's clarity under pressure. Let's break it down. We live in a culture where the delivery of a message matters more than the message itself. Say something hard to hear, but do it calmly, slowly, with positive intent, and people eat it up. But say the same thing loud, raw, unfiltered. Suddenly you're labeled aggressive, toxic, problematic. Burr. He couldn't care less. Because anger doesn't make something untrue. In fact, sometimes it's the only honest tone left in a world flooded with fake niceness. You ever been in a job where everyone smiles in meetings, but knives are out the second the Zoom call ends? You ever dated someone who sounded supportive, but never actually listened to you? You ever see someone calmly lie through their teeth? And everyone nods because, well, he said it nicely. That's the disease Burr is diagnosing. We've prioritized comfort over confrontation, style over substance, manners over meaning. And here's the cost. We stop trusting anything that feels intense even when it's real. And we start embracing anything that sounds sweet, even when it's empty. Burr's delivery is sharp. Yes, but he's not trying to offend. He's trying to shake you awake. He's the guy yelling, "Get out," while everyone else whispers, "Maybe you should consider leaving." And the truth? Sometimes yelling is exactly what's needed, especially when no one's listening anymore. He's said it in 100 different ways. I'm not mad because I hate the world. I'm mad because I still give a sh. And maybe that's what makes him dangerous. He cares, but not enough to lie to you. Signature 5. You want to succeed today. Just be loud. Fake. And post your trauma for clicks. That line doesn't need a laugh track. It needs a siren. Bill Burr isn't just joking here. He's summarizing the algorithmic disease that's infected everything from self-worth to success. In the world we've built, the fastest way to be heard isn't to be smart or kind or good at something. It's to be loud. Add a victim story. Sprinkle in buzzwords like healing, journey, growth. Make sure there's a ring light involved. And congratulations, you're now an expert, a brand, and someone's inspiration of the week. Burr can't stand it. He spent his whole career earning an audience through jokes, pain, timing, and brutal honesty. And now, all you need is a breakdown on TikTok and a 6-step trauma monetization plan. And people wonder why he sounds angry. What's worse is how performative it all is. People aren't healing. They're performing healing. They're not growing. They're recording themselves pretending to grow so they can harvest likes from strangers. Meanwhile, the real ones, the people who are actually trying to get better, they're quiet, messy, private, because real growth looks like shit. It's awkward. It's confusing. It doesn't come with hashtags, but that doesn't sell. So the internet rewards the opposite. Be confident. Even if you're clueless. Be emotional. Even if it's shallow. Be controversial. Even if you stand for nothing. And whatever you do, make sure it's all online. Burr tears this to shreds. Because in his world, truth should hurt a little, cost a lot, and happen offline. It shouldn't come with a brand deal and a merch drop. He's said it before. I don't trust anyone who starts their sentence with, "as someone who's healing," and ends it with a coupon code. Mic drop. So yeah, you want success in 2025. Forget discipline. Forget humility. Just weaponize your story and never shut up. But if Burr's right, and he usually is, eventually, the truth comes back with a vengeance. And when it does, it won't care how many followers you have. Signature 6. We've never had more access to truth, and yet somehow, we've never been more full of shao-chowed. There it is. That's the thesis statement for the 21st century. And Bill Burr delivers it like someone who's watched the digital revolution turn into a dumpster fire of delusion. Think about it. You can Google anything, watch 1,000 documentaries, verify facts in 3 clicks. But do people actually get smarter? Nope. They get louder. They get more certain. They get more tribal, more reactive, more convinced that their version of reality is the only one that matters. Evidence be damned. Burr sees it and just laughs. Because what else can you do when everyone walks around with a supercomputer in their pocket and still ends up believing whatever meme fits their vibe? He's said it 100 ways. This isn't an information crisis. It's a humility crisis. People don't want the truth. They want their truth, served back to them with seasoning that flatters their ego. We don't listen to learn. We listen to win. We don't research. We scroll. And if it doesn't agree with us, we call it fake. cancel it, mock it, and move on to the next dopamine hit. That's what makes Burr so refreshing and so terrifying. He doesn't care what tribe you belong to. He doesn't play for your side. He just points at the stupidity and yells, "Hey, you see this? Right. This is insane." And the punchline. Half the people hearing him think he's part of the problem because he's not yelling the approved version of truth. But that's the brilliance of it. Burr's not trying to save anyone. He's not offering a solution. He's just documenting the collapse with comedy. And honestly, that might be the most honest thing anyone's doing right now. Because while the world melts under the weight of its own contradictions, Burr's standing on the edge with a mic, saying what we all know deep down: we're full of shortra trait, and we can't even admit it with dignity.